In my brooder today we have 7 of the turkeys, baby turkeys, that are for sale. There's 7 of them in there. They're all sleeping under the light this morning. They're got one bunch that's a week old and one bunch that's 2 weeks old. We have our dehydrator going this morning. It's full of kale. We're making kale powder, and that's one of the secret ingredients I sneak into a lot of my recipes just to give added nutrition. So that's another project on the move this morning. This is evening time, and I'll let you see my laying flock. Fighting with each other, of course. We've got the new Cornish pullets mixed in now with the old ones. There's still a little bit of bumper tag going on with everybody getting along. But as a rule, everybody's free ranging pretty well. Throw them out a little bit of layer pellets this evening. One of the things that had to happen today was I had to water my pots along the house. They were beginning to show some heat stress. It has been extremely hot here and very, very dry for the last week. We're talking, it's been only about 80 or 90 degrees actual temperature, but as far as the heat index, has been in the hundreds because of our humidity levels. So this is my little garden here. The fruit trees. This is really the only fruit trees that are producing right now. We've had Japanese beetles like crazy. However, the chickens have been eating them, and my grandson has been catching them with his butterfly net. And we've really been not too bad, but these are just about ripe. We've gotten maybe 10 peaches off of this tree. As you can see, they have a little bit of spotting, but not too bad. And then this is the other half of the experiment, and it's a Miracrest nectarine, and it's a little bit behind the peach as far as the ripening schedule is concerned. But we have actually gotten some fruit this year. Hooray! One thing I did today was sprayed the poison ivy. Let's see how this works. But I used a blend of cleaning strength vinegar, salt, and a little Dawn dish detergent. And we're going to see if that actually burns them down like it needs to. Looks like it's kind of done a little stress into it anyway. We'll see how it goes. And we have our currant bushes back here. This is, I believe, a black currant. The one over there is a black currant also, and then I have a red currant down here. I had like 7 currants to start with, but we had a lot of issues with them getting knocked down by dogs and just not taking, and just didn't do very well. We're hoping that we can get currants all along this whole fence line. That tree over there is a Stanley prune plum, and that is a Stanley prune plum, and neither one of them have produced this year. I also found that I have a black raspberry bush here, and it's just volunteer, and I'm letting it tip root because I'm going to try to remove the new plants and move it someplace where I want it to be and not where it's coming up wild. But I did get a few black raspberries off of it this year, so that's a good thing. As you can hear, it's time to feed our little bottle lamb, Ira. He's over there waiting. I have a few things starting to come with my tank garden. My garden has been pretty neglected this year, but I do have some green beans and tomato plant and a few other items. I've got some okra planted in there, got some beets planted in there, some celery planted in there. We'll see what all comes up. We still have a weed bed around it. I still need to get mulch down. Here is onions. They need weeded and fertilized. This one has got some radishes coming up, and I just planted some carrots for fall. And then these three we just harvested potatoes out of, and I'll be able to let you see that later. Right now, I've got somebody who's pretty adamant. So here's our bucket baby Ira. As you can see, he is doing pretty doggone good. He's still having a bucket twice a day because I'm trying to build him up and not slow him down in any way, shape, or form. I want this little boy to be big and healthy. So I'm putting the groceries to him. He's having milk twice a day. He's got all the clover and grass he can eat, and he's still getting a little bit of creep feed. But he is doing really wonderfully well. We have had him 1 month as of yesterday. When we got him, he weighed 20 pounds. And I just weight taped him today, and he weighs 38.5 pounds according to my calculations. So he has almost doubled his size and weight in a month, which is excellent. He's growing fast, but he's growing healthy too. He's not just growing, I'm not pushing him too hard, I don't think. He's just catching up. It's amazing what happens when you get the parasites out of their little systems and get them to where they're actually absorbing the food you give them. As you can see, it doesn't take him nothing flat to eat his food. He's getting a 1.5 pints of milk twice a day. Milk replacer, and it's lamb replacer. I actually, in my hoarding ways, used to work at Tractor Supply, and that was back before I was disabled, and I worked part-time there. And they had a 50-pound bag of lamb replacement that had been damaged open, and really nobody in our area has lambs and sheep. They tried to put it on, clearance it to get rid of the open bag. Nobody bought it. It got reduced to $10, and I purchased it. And that was, wait for it, 10 years ago. 10 years ago. And I repackaged it into some plastic jugs that were dark colored. I did some research on it. The milk should be good for 10 years. That's like a shelf stable life before it starts deteriorating significantly. So when I got him, I started doing the new milk replacer like you'd buy at the grocery store, or I should say the feed store. And then after he was eating good and I made sure he wasn't going to have scours or anything, I started slowly mixing the old milk that I had saved. And like I said, I've been keeping it in the basement, different places where it was cool and dark, and doing the best I could to keep it good. But I started mixing very slowly the old milk in with the new milk, and now he is eating all the old milk replacer, which, like I said, I got 10 years ago for $10. So basically he's getting milk replacer for free, and I figure I'm going to let him eat milk replacer as long as I've got it. When I start getting to the end, I'm going to start weaning him down to 1 meal a day, and then just off of it completely, just like a regular weaning. But while I've still got plenty of milk replacer, I'm feeding it to this baby because it should be expired this year, and I don't have any other reason to do anything with it, so he might as well eat it and grow. And as you can see, all that milk he just ate does not diminish his need for grass in any way. Our other little sheepies we have here, this is the mother Molly and her two daughters, Thyme and Rosemary. Molly is the one that had to have a lamb pulled this season. I did get it on videotape, but my veterinarian did not want it to be on YouTube, So that's his, since he was in the video and it was his star role, he didn't have to have it on YouTube. But Molly is going to have to sell as a call this year, which is sad. She's such a sweet girl. But the chances of her ever being able to be bred again, because she had probably had some pretty significant scar tissue from her babies. But she's got 2 good healthy lambs this year, and she is going to be with them for another month before I take her to the auction barn just to be sold as a meat animal. Over here we have Dot, which is the white one in the back, the mama, and then we have her 2 babies, Eula and Skipper 2, and they are end of March babies this year. They are like 18 days older than this one, but they are both growing up really well. Eula is going to be kept as a replacement ewe. Also, of the other batch, Rosemary is going to be kept as a replacement ewe. And I'm going to keep Dot another year or so, so we'll see. She's a pretty good girl. She has good lambs. Our turkeys, we got to take care of them today. They're out here, and I have them in the lamb pen today because when I went out here this morning, we had some kind of ground wasps or something that were swarming in this lamb pen. I bet there were 200 of whatever wasp things that there were out here. And so I said, hey, turkeys, this is where you need to go for the day. As you can see, either turkeys are exploding or they are molting, and they are hard molting right now. So they kind of are a mess looking animals, but that's okay. They'll be getting some new feathers soon, and then they'll look sharp again. They are still laying eggs, and I've either been setting them under broody hens or selling the eggs as hatching eggs, fertile hatching eggs. So they have been a source of income this year on my homestead, as I was hoping that they would be. I will be keeping them at least next year as a breeding set, so that's a good thing too. And like I said, they're just out here hanging out this evening, but I'm getting ready to go put them away, and then we'll check the rest of the animals. Now we're headed out to the meat birds. Their pen was moved this morning. I'll move it again tomorrow morning. You can see the path of destruction that they're leaving behind as far as the mint weed is concerned. There's creeping Charlie. They're starting to really grow. I've just been putting their food on the ground for them so that they can know the ground is where their food is at. And they've been responding pretty well. So the feeding frenzy has begun, as you can see. Little turkey's jumping right in there. They have 2 little drinker bottles right here full of water, drippy bottles. You can see the little red drinkers on them. And I also have a pan of water down here that I keep for them. I'll fill it up again tomorrow after I move them. Got plenty for tonight. Like I said, lots of first, second, and third backups when it's this hot. We want to make sure they have plenty of things to drink. But everybody's growing great, healthy and strong. One little secret, you see this little pipe that I stand down in the bucket? As you see, it's kind of hooked in with the fence down there. If they have something like that, they can't tip their pan over. Little turkeys are growing well too. These are meat turkeys. I'm doing 4 for the freezer in addition to my meat birds this year. And that should be enough for this family for the year. There's just 3 of us at home most of the time, so 29 meat birds does us well. 29, 30, something like that, as far as the chickens. When you combine that with lamb, and we've bought a half a pig, and that does a lot of our meat needs, almost all of our meat needs, other than if we eat out, which we do that more than I care to admit. One more aspect to the farm. Good timing. As you can see, the broody hens are out having a little exercise and a break. They've got some water jug here, and they also have a drink system inside of the house. I'm going to give them some scratch green. Inside they've got 24% grower ration. I feed that to my broodies because they eat very little every day, and they need as much protein as possible to keep their cells in shape, so they stay nice and strong and sturdy and fat, and are able to take care of the babies and eggs that they need to do. There's shade cloth over the run, and I have some shade cloth over the brooder box also. We're going to look and see what we got in here. And got one nest looking good, and the second nest is looking good. And some of these eggs, like this egg right there, those are black shoulder peacock eggs, and these are turkey eggs. And this gal's just sitting on only turkey eggs. So give it a good check. Lock everything back up so nothing can get to them. And they are set for the night. When it's this hot, I haven't been shutting them in the house. I'm trusting my pins to be secure enough. Maybe someday that'll be a bad mistake, but for right now, I'm just trusting this secure pin. And we got the turkeys are back in their home pen. And these are the turkey eggs I just gathered. So we're going to take those in and mark them. There is an animal swap coming up this weekend. One of the feed stores has it, and I'll be selling these eggs as fertilized turkey hatching eggs at the animal swap. Along here I have my blueberries we just planted this year. There's 4 blueberry plants, and they're doing pretty well. You can see this one's got a few little blueberries on it, and then this is new. I finally got my grapes planted. We still have to build the arbor, but these 3 spikes that don't even look like there's really anything there. There's 3 grapevines that have been planted, and then that one at the very end by the tree is one that I rescued from our other house. And it has quite a few grapes on it, but it still needs to be trellised and trained for this environment. So it's pretty ratty looking right now. And then along this fence are tomatoes, and they're doing pretty good. Got a few green tomatoes showing up. There's Mandog, my coyote dog. Mandog! You can see the hens are back to working, getting some food off the land. When it's this hot, I gather eggs twice a day. One here, 2 here. Nice and clean. If you keep your nest boxes clean, your eggs will be clean. The big fatty hen cannot get in a nest box. She's too fat. So she lays hers down here in the poo. And this coop is about ready to be cleaned, and the mess will be incorporated, some of it into those raised bed garden that I just got through harvesting the potatoes out of. And that garden will be replanted with some zucchini. And then got 2 eggs here. So, keeping in mind that I have some hens that have been broody and they're not going back to lay yet. We've got extreme heat on this homestead. And we've already collected 3 eggs today, so that brings our total to 9 chicken eggs and 3 turkey eggs for the day, which is not bad for the middle of summer. Thanks for watching Thunder Ridge Homestead. If you like this video, remember to hit like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. I really appreciate it. Thanks. Say bye-bye, Seiji. Yeah, bye-bye.